Hi, shalom friends. Could you imagine getting a letter one day in a very official looking envelope, and it says, by the authority of the United States of America. And you open up this letter and it says, you are hereby requested to leave your home and to live in a shack for the following 8 to 10 days. And then it has the chutzpah to end by saying, and you shall be happy. Of course, you're thinking this must be a prank. You quickly call up the 1-800 number on the bottom and you say, I've received a very official looking letter. This is preposterous. I mean, you want me to leave my house? Yes, absolutely. It will be enforced. You say, oh my gosh, I don't know what I did wrong, but is it okay if I make my shack a little bit weatherproof? If I weatherproof it? Absolutely wrong. It is forbidden. You have to make sure that the roof is built in a way where it can rain. In fact, there should be gaps. You should be able to see the stars at night. Can I build like gigantic walls, maybe 30 feet or higher, just to as a protection against the wind? No, they have to be actually much smaller. Now, of course, this will never happen, and we certainly couldn't be happy because we're being evicted from our homes. But guess what? Pious, religious, observant, traditional Jews do that. Once a year, they leave their beautiful homes with the chandeliers, with their wall-to-wall carpeting, with their Hollywood kitchen, with the plumbing and the beautiful everything that they put into this home, and they sit outside, maybe in the backyard, maybe in the front yard, maybe in the shul sukkah, and it is cold, it is drafty, and it's beautiful, and it's joyful. How do we make sense of this? How is it possible to leave a comfortable home to sit in a very uncomfortable abode for over a week and yet to feel a sense of contentment and joy? Well, let me introduce a very famous legend brought down in our tradition. There was once a king who was very unusual because he didn't suffer from any of the maladies of kingship. He was healthy. He had a beautiful wife, he had beautiful children, and he lived in a beautiful palace, and he had a beautiful nation to govern. He was well liked, he was respected, there were no enemies, so what could possibly be wrong? I'll tell you, my friend, he was unhappy. And he could not figure out why would he be unhappy when he's so blessed. So he decided to consult with his wisest advisors who understood that this must be some type of a spirit of melancholy that came into him. And they said the only way you could get rid of this spirit is if you wear the shirt of a completely happy person. When a person is completely happy, his shirt will absorb that spirit, and that spirit is what you have to have on your body. So he sent out his soldiers and advisors to find the shirt of a perfectly happy person. I mean, after all, that shouldn't be that difficult. They started to go to some very wealthy people who were blessed with great affluence. And they always seemed to be happy. They came to the private audience and they said to this very wealthy man, we would like to buy your shirt. He said, do I need your money? It's for the king. I'll give it to him happily. But by the way, are you happy? He says, well, much of the time, but not really. You're not happy? What's missing? Well, I'm always concerned about my wealth. I'm actually worried about it. I'm worried, will I keep it? I'm worried about, will people steal from me? Sometimes I doubt people even like me. I think they like me because of my wealth. And this was surprising to them because from the outside, he seemed to be so happy. So they said, well, we don't need your shirt. We'll go to another rich person. And as they started to make the rounds of these wealthy people who were blessed with tremendous wealth, affluence, and prestige, they began to realize that no one was truly happy. Each one had a different concern. So they decided, okay, let's go to the wise people, the philosophers. And they began to interview these philosophers who were very, very well respected for their great intellect and philosophy. And they found out something very surprising, that though from the exterior they were always gentle and happy, deep down they were tormented by thoughts. They weren't sure if they were on the path of truth. Some of them were simply petty. Maybe my colleague will become smarter than me or become more popular than me. And they were very, very shocked at this. After all, these are the philosophers, so they decided to go to a different group of people. And little by little, they found something extraordinary. Every single person that they had interviewed, even though from the exterior they seemed to be happy and well-adjusted, deep down were truly and profoundly unhappy. And they realized that the king had to wear the shirt of a perfectly happy person. A shirt of a person who's only 80% happy would not do it. And they were really becoming quite anxious about this, and with a frantic desire to please the king, they decided to go out of the city. When they went out of the city, there was a garbage dump. And as they're passing the garbage dump, and there's actually a very unfavorable odor wafting from it, they hear someone singing. He's whistling. And just from the melody, they could tell that this is a very happy person. The first thought was that he probably is drunk. So they looked carefully, and they saw a man without a shirt, lying on the grass, whistling and looking at the clouds. And there was no bottle of whiskey, so that pleased them greatly. They went over to the man and they said, "Excuse me, my good man, how are you today?" He says, "What are you talking about? I'm a happy human being. Thank God." They said, "Happy? Are you really happy?" He said, "Look at me. I don't have a care in the world. I'm a very happy person." They look at each other in surprise. This was something that they did not expect. A poor person, not even wearing a shirt, should be happier than the philosopher, happier than the financier, happier than the student, happier than the housewife. So they said, today is your lucky day. We are willing to give you gold for the weight of your shirt. You see, your shirt we would want to take for the king. And he says, "No." They looked at him. They said, do you know what gold is? We are talking about an extravagance of wealth. You will be able to be wealthy for generations. Why do you say no? No, I will not give it to the king. Well, aren't you a loyal subject? Yes, I am. So why don't you want to give it to the king? He says, because I can't. I don't even possess a shirt. And with that, the legend ends. You see, all of the people that possessed houses, wisdom, and health, and all kinds of other wonderful blessings, found some type of a concern that interfered with them experiencing joy. But paradoxically, the one person who had nothing to lose, because he possessed nothing, he was truly happy. Now let's use this legend and try to understand a little bit better the story of Sukkot. Here we are, Jewish people, especially in the 20th century and 21st century, affluent, successful. Thank God a million times over for the goodness that He gives us. And we sit in our houses. And Hashem says, you really want to be happy? Zaman Simchasenu. I want to give you a festival of rejoicing. For the next 7, 8, 9 days, I want you to absorb joy. And you should remember, one of the ways you could absorb the joy is by saying to yourself, whatever you have is a gift. What do you truly possess? I'll tell you. What you truly possess is faith. What you truly possess, what is yours, is your faith, your belief, and your trust in me. If you have that, you will be a happy person. Nothing will faze you, nothing will frighten you. In order for you to absorb that message, leave the house. Sit outside in the sukkah. It doesn't have to be cold, it doesn't have to be rainy, but it does have to be constructed in a way that it could be cold, it could be rainy, it could be flimsy. Sit in that house. Think about how fortunate you are. You have me and I have you. Friends, we have each other. We're the Jewish people. We're the winning group. Let's hope and pray that we're truly happy. Absorb the message of faith, trust, and hope, and then we will truly be able to appreciate the manifold blessings. And may God continue to give more and more that He has already bestowed upon us. Amen.